So effectively a half a year, 90,000. I withdrew some money, and then I restarted my account exactly at $100,000 going into 2021. And then 21, we ended up going from that 100,000 to over 3 million, and then that's when I got the boot from my broker. And part of the reason that I got the boot was, for anybody familiar with Thinkorswim, or really even at E-Trade, if you place a market order and there's like a 3-cent spread, they'll fill you in the middle, right? And sometimes even if there's a 10-cent spread, like $10 to 10.10, they'll fill you like 10.04 to 10.06, right? And so I used to just market order, and then as soon as price would start to catch up, literally the bid to my average, I used to be able to market order out because they would fill me with liquidity that they provided on the exit. And so I was just a scalper, kind of taking advantage of the liquidity they provided on the way in and the liquidity they provided on the way out. So because of that, it kind of felt like, an infinite money glitch, right? That's literally kind of what it felt like. So in 20 and 21, effectively zero drawdown. It wasn't until 22, and we'll go over kind of one of my biggest percent losses of my portfolio at the time, right? I had never taken a single trade that wiped out 15% of my portfolio effectively because I did something super stupid. I was convinced on a theme, which was uranium, being the thing that would power, you needed nuclear energy to power EVs and to power, I didn't know about data centers. I just told myself EVs. I remember California's like, oh, by 2035, all cars got to be electric vehicles. So I was like, okay, well, if that's going to be the case, I was like, we're not going to burn coal. I said, that doesn't make a lot of sense. So my thinking was, we're going to have nuclear power and lots of it. I'm from the state of Illinois. We got 7, nuclear facilities here in Illinois. So that thought kind of made sense in my head. And I started to get really aggressive in Cameco because they're the largest publicly traded uranium producer. Yep. And so I was like, okay, this makes sense. I was like, when they start restarting all these nuclear facilities, you're going to need uranium. And I started to get aggressive in CCJ. And, like a dummy, without any real risk management, I had my whole portfolio in there, effectively. Not quite the whole portfolio, but dang near the whole thing. And I remember I got caught in a gap down, an ugly one. And then that kind of set me back, 15% plus. Besides the fact that I had already been trading poorly,
Yep.
in 2022. So, it was like a 30+% drawdown that I kind of had to overcome. And it was already just bad trading. And then this was like at the end of the year. So it's like, not only have you been trading poorly since March all the way to October. In October, it's just like a really big, machete kind of coming in and chopping your head off. And then it was like I was timid for, the next few months. And fortunately, the one trade that I got myself back into, which of course kind of had to teach me sell rules, how to trail, was NVIDIA.